write down the time you're there. Say you're there for 15 minutes or something like that, and just leave your address and phone number.
It's getting a bit complicated, Ewan. If there are other callers...
Take the next left onto Helen Avenue, then turn left onto Harlington Road West.
Ewan, thank you for calling in and reminding us that the app in Scotland is working very well. It gives us some confidence here that even though we've got these glitches, we can probably crack it in the next few days. Ewan, thank you for calling in. Chris in Birmingham. Chris.
Hi there, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, I've just been...
Continue on A312 for half a mile.
jogging.
I do jog. I have to say, I haven't been jogging for a little while.
You need to be more of a jogger than that.
I probably do. Chris, have you downloaded this app?
Well, I haven't personally, but I'm in a studio in Birmingham, and people have kept turned up today. Only quarter of the class turned up. They've said that some of the people, not all of them, have said, yeah, he's on low risk. He's got the measurements on there or whatnot. I don't know much about the app, and then I was listening to what I read, the rest of the class, everyone's confirmed. Then obviously I finished the class, and they were receiving, the other half of the class was saying that they were getting high marks. I'm a bit baffled on how half the class get low and the other half get high, so I'm not really a big fan of this app. It's costing all this.
Hang on, this is a completely separate point, Chris.
Yeah.
You're saying that your venue...
In a quarter of a mile, slide right onto Causeway A312.
...to some of those who attend your dance studio as high risk.
Yeah, they
So
did.
they shouldn't go.
I know, I just don't know what to do about it. And
So this means your business is shot.
yeah, my business is not going great at all because...
Take the next right onto Causeway A312.
People like the British will be a minority by 2066 outside, and so, yeah...
Continue on A312 for 1 mile.
The idea that the app does that, but you're suggesting that the app sends messages to people telling them where somewhere that they're going to is a high-risk place to be, or presumably a low-risk place to be. And clearly, presumably, someone, the app is reporting that someone in your studio has tested positive and is self-isolating, and that's why people should not go to your studio, presumably.
Well, yeah, I just don't agree with these apps. I mean, I have one app, and I think it's called,
I've no idea about that, Chris. I can't help you, but what I can say is if you're right about that, there may well be people who can't input a negative test and are being told to self-isolate, and it may well be that means that your studio shows up as high risk. I can't confirm that because it's complicated, but clearly there's going to need to be a lot of public information about how this app works, good or bad. Thank you so much for calling in. Really, really grateful, Chris. Tim in Crayford.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm very well, Tim.
Well, I have an interest in technology, especially after the Isle of Wight test. I've been paying particular interest to see how they go about this. Now, with that first on the Isle of Wight, they wanted to hoard everybody's data. Now, I'm a bit privacy conscious. I really didn't like that. This didn't well for me. So I was very interested with the current app, because over here in of the NHS test and trace, that's more like the Windows shop front leaf power.
In a quarter of a mile, at Wagoners Roundabout, take the second exit onto the Parkway A312.
Yes.
And that's sending out a little beacon.
Yes.
And for 15 minutes at a time, this beacon has a certain code which is unique. And let's say you're a few meters away from me, and I don't know, who you are. Our phones, we have the app. They can ping each other, and they've made a log that we were near each other, and they even know how far away we are from each other.
Exit the roundabout onto the parkway.
Location data.
Continue on the parkway for 1 mile.
And you can confirm this if you go to your phone settings within the app setting. You can see there's no entry for location data. Surely using Bluetooth. So what happens is if you voluntarily then choose to admit that you've got a positive result, that is submitted to not have this happens, and they don't know who you were. They can ping back to your phone, but your phone knows who you've been around, and it's a code that they don't know who. But the phone can work that out, and that's how people can get who may have been close to someone.
But Tim, what about these people in the situation where they've left somewhere and the app thinks that they're off the system at 12, but they've actually gone home? Is that a problem, or are you saying it's not a problem because Bluetooth fixes that problem?
I'm thinking that's something that the government have just added in. In terms of the phone, they know who they're around because the phones are talking to each other. The only thing I can think of is that it just helps them with data collection, that a lot of people seem to get pinged while they were in this establishment. Could it be that it's not as COVID secure? I can't see how that would actually add benefit to the individual other than statistical purposes. It's like how they like your just giving part of your postcode. They don't know what it is. But I think they just use that to know about general listing the area. I don't know if they're using the QR code in a similar way to find out if there seems to be a lot of positive people saying they're positive after being to a certain location.
In a quarter of a mile, at Cranford Parkway Interchange, take the second exit onto the M4 slip road to Heathrow Airport, M25.
Well, Tim, thank you for calling in with your technical ability and trying to bring some clarity to how the app works. And thank you to all of you that have called in this afternoon, revealing the issues that you've had with the app. And I'm sure many people listening will be worried, frankly, about how the app's working. I want to reiterate, please download the app, but I also want to reiterate to the government and to Public Health England, get a move on, fix these problems. We've got to get trust in the system, and people have got to be able to download this and know that it works. So thank you for tweeting at me, texting at me, and calling in these numbers. Now, I want to get back...
Exit the roundabout onto the slip road. In a quarter of a mile, merge onto M4.
People who'd experienced discrimination, like our barrister, Alexandra Wilson. I want to spend this last lockdown talking to you about all those people who've experienced discrimination, whatever it is, in their lives. So we're going to get back to that. You're listening to David Mann on LBC. It's 6:30, and it's time for the news with Tim Hedgley.
Users of the new NHS COVID-19 app say it doesn't...
Continue on M4 for 3 miles.
...in a hospital or in a Public Health England laboratory. A code is required to process the result, but that's not provided if your screening hasn't been done through a private provider. New restrictions have come into force in Llanelli, with Cardiff and Swansea following tomorrow. People in Wigan, Stockport, Blackpool and Leeds also have rules preventing them visiting other people's homes. Nearly a quarter of people in Britain are now under some sort of measures. A further 6,042 live confirmed cases of coronavirus have been recorded in the UK. That's 832 fewer than yesterday. Another 34 people died within 28 days of testing positive for COVID-19. The weather cloudy and windy tonight with the odd light shower in the east, otherwise dry with good clear spells and cold with frost for some, particularly Northern Ireland and Scotland, where temperatures will dip to -1.
quarter of a mile, keep right to stay on M4.
Everyone else does.
To the Mayor of London and TfL, every day matters.
Leading Britain's conversation, LBC with David Lammy.
You're listening to David Lammy on LBC and Sergeant Matty Matiner.
Keep right to stay on M4.
New Zealand died in hospital on Friday after being shot as a handcuffed suspect was
Continue on M4 for 6 miles.
just heard. The Deputy Assistant Commissioner Stuart Campbell has just given the statement outside New Scotland Yard.
As well as remembering that, over the last 2 days, we've been working round the clock on a murder investigation. At this time, the suspect remains in hospital in a critical condition. And due to his state, we are not yet able to speak to him. We have teams of specialist investigators who are investigating Matt's murder. We have 4 major crime scenes, each of which is being painstakingly searched to be subject of a detailed and painstaking forensic examination. We have recovered the gun from the custody suite where Matt was shot, and that gun is being forensically examined. We also have the CCTV from that custody suite, which shows the events. And we have body-worn video of our police officers who were involved in the circumstances surrounding the arrest of your suspect. Our specialist investigators are carefully reviewing all of that footage, which will be considered alongside the accounts of the officers. One of the aims of our murder investigation is to establish why Matt was shot. And one of my priorities is to ensure that any future criminal prosecution is not jeopardised. And I know that will be important to the public too, which is why I ask for everybody's support to not speculate about the events and the circumstances. And finally, I would like to thank everybody for their support, which means so much to all of those who worked with and knew Matt.
That was Deputy Assistant Commissioner Stuart Campbell speaking outside New Scotland Yard about the death of Matt Matiner, who died on Friday. At the start of my show, I spoke to Alexandra Wilson and asked her to explain what exactly had happened. You remember that Alexandra Wilson was the UK barrister mistaken for the defendant and stopped 4 times in an afternoon. No one believed she was the barrister. This is what she said to me.
So, from when I entered the courtroom, the court building, the first thing that happened was the security officer stopped me and, asked for my full name so that he could tick me off the defendant list, that I was here for my case. I explained to him that I was actually here as a barrister. He apologised, and, I went on in, spoke to my client. I then went to the courtroom. As I went to the courtroom, a member of the public told me I couldn't go in because journalists couldn't go in and only lawyers could. The usher, the one person who all day seemed to actually recognise that I was a barrister, told me to ignore her and head on in. When I went in, I opened the door and a barrister or solicitor, it was a magistrate's court, so we weren't wearing our wigs and gowns, so I think that's probably, important context. We all the professionals wear, black suit.
Yes. Yeah.
And so a barrister or solicitor was sitting at the back of the courtroom, and as I opened the door, she told me to wait outside of the courtroom. The usher would come and speak to me and sign me in for my case. I said to her I was the defence barrister.
Has that barrister since apologised?
No, she hasn't. No. And I said I'm the defence barrister. I'm here to speak to the prosecutor. She, that would have been the opportunity to apologise. To be honest, she could have said sorry then, but no. She said, "Oh, I see," and turned around, and she was clearly embarrassed, but there was no apology. And then I started to walk in the courtroom now. I started to walk to the front of the courtroom to speak to the prosecutor. The magistrates were out, so as is normal, you go and speak to the prosecutor before the case. The clerk, the legal advisor in the case, then shouted at me to get out of the courtroom.
And can you just tell me, not just how did that make you feel, but your sense of why they came to that judgment? Was it your race? Was it your gender? What do you think was going on across those 4 occasions?
I think the main thing, to be honest, like it did feel that it was my race, because there were other women, there were other white women going in and out of the courtroom that weren't challenged, that weren't stopped. There were other white men going in and out of the courtroom. The barrister who told me to leave the courtroom wasn't particularly old herself. Some people have said, is it
In 2 miles, at junction 6, take the A355 exit to Slough Central.
It's very common to see junior barristers in the magistrates' court. It's not, it's not particularly unusual. So it did feel that actually I was being challenged. I was dressed the same as everyone else. I was wearing a black suit, a black handbag, black shoes. There was no reason. The only thing that separated me from all the other people was that I wasn't white.
Alexandra, this is an appalling day for you, clearly. Has it happened before?
Many times, to be completely honest, many times. And the reason I tweeted about it that day was because it had happened so many times on one day. And for me, when I got shouted at, I wanted to cry. And, I had a client outside the courtroom waiting for me. I was so humiliated. And it just felt like this was just too much. And I've been taking it on the chin every time it happened. And I have a bit of a platform, so I thought, actually, this is time to speak out about this. And what's been so difficult, David, actually, is, you've said it, and so many other black barristers have said that they've had the exact same thing. I've had, in the 24 hours following me speaking out about it, at least 3 black QCs reached out to me personally to say that even as QCs, sometimes when they're sitting as judges, they get refused entrance to go into, through the judicial entrance.
Well, you heard there from Alexandra, and I'm taking your calls on your experience of discrimination, and people were calling in the first hour talking about their experience of racism, but also talking about their experience as women, or their experience because
In a quarter of a mile, at junction 6, take the A355 exit to Slough Central.
being a factor. So I want to continue taking those calls on discrimination, what your experience is, and what we can do about it. Alexandra says that there has to be in the court system unconscious bias training and anti-racism training.
Exit at junction 6.
Linda in Brixton. Linda.
David, hello. First of all, excellent show and very good topic.
Oh, thank you so much, Linda.
In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the 3rd exit on 2 Tons Lane, A355.
Discrimination is endemic in our society, from our parents to our schools to people in positions of selection, jobs, universities, and I've had first-hand experience of that on quite a few occasions. One of them is a funny story, and the others 2 more serious stories. So,
do you think that that's sort of somehow innately human, that we can we conquer this discrimination, or should we just sort of expect it?
No, I think it has to be conquered.
Yeah.
And it has to be conquered from our parents, through to our teachers, through to our judicial system, all the way through society.
When have you been discriminated against?
So, quite a long time ago, I lived in...
Exit the roundabout on 2 Tons Lane.
In the Elephant and Castle.
Yes, the old Haygate, yeah.
The old Haygate. And I lived in 148...
Continue on A355 for 1 mile.
My university. And when I finished university, I did a degree at LCP.
You can do a degree at LBC, really? Go on.
I then applied for a postgraduate teacher training course at South Bank Uni. And in those days you had to put photographs on and list of schools, etc., etc. Anyway, I didn't even get an interview. And I went for a post-application analysis or advice as to why I didn't get in. and the teacher said to me off the record, it was your school and your privileged upbringing, and your race. So fortunately I was born in Uganda, so the following year I applied again, birthplace Uganda. I put a photograph of my friend Toyin on the application. Instead of naming my school, I just put Brighton School for whatever, and I got offered an unconditional place without an interview.
Continue for 1.5 miles.
You see? And actually, there have been these surveys that have been done. I think the Department for Work and Pensions did one where, different names have been used, foreign-sounding names, and there's discrimination in the employment market. So, Linda, that confirms your experience, and actually those tests were done more recently.
You have a number, an application number, so there's no name, so you don't make those prejudged.
They call it name blind, so that you can't actually see and make that prejudgment. But we shouldn't have to do it. It's very sad that we have to do it. Linda, thank you for calling in and sharing that with us. The time now is 6:45.
Coming up at 7 on LBC, Natasha Devon.
Police have clashed with demonstrators at a rally in London protesting the latest coronavirus restrictions. Are we, by nature, a disobedient nation?
Natasha Devon on LBC.
Your family, your friends, your neighbours, everyone we love is on our phone, and our phone can now help us protect them by using the NHS COVID-19 app. Because the quicker you know when you're at risk, the quicker you can alert and protect those you love. We've come together many times in the fight against coronavirus. Now we need to come together again. Download the NHS COVID-19 app for free via the App Store or Google Play.
That's Zane whizzing through town in a free now private hire vehicle, taking advantage of our low prices. And that's him nipping home in a free now black cab with prices that never surge. Private hire vehicles, low prices. Black cabs never surge. See, with the choice of black cabs and private hire vehicles together on ride-hailing app Free Now, you're in control to get there cheaper. So however you roll, download Free Now and get 50% off your first ride with code TAXI. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Halifax. We understand that life's been anything but normal this year. You might feel okay being outside, or maybe you still feel safer being at home. Perhaps it might be the time to consider your next move. However you feel about the future, we're the people here to help. Halifax, it's a people thing.
With Vodafone Superfast One Extra Broadband, you get a whole lot more than just superfast speeds. You get an amazing Apple TV 4K on us, original shows and movies with a free Apple TV Plus subscription for 12 months, and anytime minutes with no in-contract price rises all included. Not bad for just £31 a month for 24 months. Ready? Vodafone.
24-month contract, credit check and acceptance applied. Watch 4K capable TV, Apple TV Plus £4.99 per month after 1 year unless cancelled. See apple.com, terms apply. Vodafone.co.uk/broadband.
At Big Motoring World, we usually say go big or go home. But now we're saying go big from your home. Order the car you love from the thousands online and then collect in store. Contact-free digital signing, sanitized cars, and a whole lot of loving from 2 meters. Big Motoring Love has never been so clean. Order online at bigmotoringworld.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Patrick, a bus driver for TfL. We are now back to good service levels on the buses, as well as on the underground and trains. Please still travel at quiet times when there is more space. The quietest times to travel at the weekend are before noon and after 6 p.m. And remember, everyone must wear a face covering at all times, unless you are exempt. We're ready when you are. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
David Lammy on LBC. Text 84850.
I'm taking your calls here on LBC following Alexandra Wilson and her experience of discrimination as a barrister in our court system. Stopped 4 times.
In 300 yards, turn left onto Buckingham Avenue.
Charles in Eastbourne. Charles.
Hello, David.
Hello, hi.
Yeah, my case is quite unusual. It happened a few years ago, and basically what happened was...
Take the next left onto Buckingham Avenue, then your destination will be on the left.
Transitioning
Yes.
from male to female.
Yes.